All right, let's kick it off, guys. First of all, kind request for everybody to remain muted, obviously, because otherwise, if I or Andrew is speaking, it will get like kind of confusing. So yeah, thank you all for joining today. Pretty excited to have Andrew Clifford on call. He's the president of Bitcoin Unlimited, and just like the previous episodes that we had alongside Paul and Andrew, I will just be asking like a handful of questions to Andrew, just to have a little bit of a touch with his perspective on how the things are looking like right now within Nexa, within crypto in general. Perhaps a little bit about his background, and from there on we will just have an ongoing chat. And yeah, thank you once again, everybody, for joining, and hope you will enjoy it. And I would say let's kick it off, Andrew. How you feel about it?
Yeah, sounds good, Martin. Sounds good. So fire away, please.
Right. So so yeah, Andrew, maybe I mean, let's just start with a little introduction. I would say, I mean, obviously you've been a long time with Bitcoin Unlimited already. You got quite some experience in crypto in general, so perhaps you can tell a bit about that.
Yes. Okay. So I'll just let everyone know, which people might already know, but Bitcoin Unlimited was founded in November 2015. And it was founded by Andrew Stone, actually, who made the decision to just get an organization together. And he did it with a group of people who are on online chat. Now, we started chatting on Bitcoin Talk, and this was during the Bitcoin scaling debate and the scaling wars and all that, which people will be aware of.
Right.
The first initiative to bring on-chain scaling to Bitcoin was by Gavin Andreessen and Mike Hearn with their Bitcoin XT. So on Bitcoin Talk, our people just came together who seemed to have knowledge of blockchain engineering and financials, and we supported what they were doing. In hindsight, maybe they were a little bit aggressive with the rate of increase that they foresaw. But nevertheless, we thought they were taking it in the right direction. So we decided, well, Andrew Stone actually created the first Bitcoin client version 1 by forking core. And the idea was to remove a number of the scaling constraints which were present in the Bitcoin at that software at that time.
Right.
And then we had a federation document drawn up, which defined the roles of several officials, one of which was the president. So we had a small vote in January 2016. I stood for that position. My background, which made me think that I would help in that regard, was that I've been in financial IT since the early 1980s. And worked in London in one of the world's major banks in their software trading systems. So when I first found out about Bitcoin, I could see its potential almost straight away, and I could see that again the scalability was quite important. So I'd already been debating for about 3 years since early 2013 with the core guys about trying to bring some scaling, and they were actually Peter Wiley, for example, in early 2013 suggested that that Bitcoin should handle 100 megabyte blocks. So he had a really ambitious view on things, and that all changed. And they decided that there wouldn't be any hard forks in Bitcoin. And that's something that at Bitcoin Unlimited, we think that with a cryptocurrency, having the ability to hard fork, although that ends the forward compatibility for previous versions, it actually does provide a lot of flexibility for improvements. And when we launched Bitcoin Unlimited with its own software, we're prepared to do hard forks when necessary. And that's the view that we're taking forward with Nexa. And in fact, we do have
right,
a hard plan for later this year where we're going to bring in a number of improvements that would have been really messy to try and do it in the form of a soft fork. So that's how it started off. And then in terms of the role of president, I will just say that the title was grander than what people might think. So basically, most of my role is office administration, as it were, looking after paperwork, filing, payments, and things like that. So
right.
administration is my main role within Bitcoin Unlimited.
And leading the team, right? I mean, we are like and leading the team,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah,
we are
yeah.
like
Well, that's right.
pretty often on the meetings, and I mean, I
Yeah,
personally appreciate a lot how you're all like organizing all these things. So it's more than, I would say, it's more than a little bit of administration, Andrew.
yes. Okay. Well, I try to provide a guiding hand, and it's a
Right,
light guiding hand because the Bitcoin VU guys are some very smart people, and they know what they're doing. So yes, chairing meetings, just trying to suggest ways forward, and ensuring that we move forward with consensus within the team. And
right,
if people are strongly opposing a certain approach, then I make sure that they get well heard out before a decision is made by the team. So that's all part of uh, making sure that we have a successful team. So I guess that's my role, and I, I've tried to execute that as well as I can, and I think successfully so far. As they
absolutely,
say.
absolutely. If I may say so. I mean, I'm personally like very appreciating how you're organizing all these things, and it actually brings me to a little bridge to a next question. Like, obviously we have like our calls with the whole team, but we also have our like developers calls, right? Maybe you
Yes.
can put some insights on that, like how are these things going? What people can imagine about the calls that we are having.
Right. So there are really two main types of calls. There's weekly developer meetings, which Andrew Stone chairs, and that's just purely focused on development issues, especially to do with patches and merges, and bugs and test scripts
Right,
and everything you can imagine that is purely development focus. And the other type of meeting we have is a monthly meeting, where we just get everyone together, who, like myself, who I'm actually not hands-on with the development. That's My skill set's a bit too stale for that now. Um, but we do have several people who, for one reason or another, can't attend those regular development calls. So we have a larger team meeting monthly. And then we try to have an annual meeting in person. And we had our last annual meeting in October last year. And that's quite good. Team building events. It's really important actually to talk to people face to face in a successful organization. There's only so much you can do online.
right, right. And it gives also like a little different touch on the, the, let's say, the partnership you have together, right, within the team. Like if you speak face to face, like obviously nowadays, especially after Corona, like a lot of things became like totally digital in the working environment. But I'm fully yeah, confident about that, the fact that you're meeting in person as well, that this helps a lot with like you said, like the team building, but as well like just to give this extra touch on the things that has to be done, right?
Yes, absolutely. There's certainly a lot more that, I mean, just even chatting about various issues over a glass of, a glass of beer is a,
Right,
you can really get more to understand a person's perspective on what's happening. Um, and of course, we're not, the organization was formed across the internet. This is just the modern world we live in. We're living in about 6 or 7 different countries all around the world. Um, with about 8 active developers and several part timers. So It's quite a large team. In fact, we even have one or two anonymous contributors. We're not even sure where they are. So this decentralized nature of the team itself is a modern phenomenon, and there's obviously a lot more organisations like this today.
Right.
This couldn't be done 20 years ago.
Right. I'm personally very excited as well, like being part of like such a team. And I mean, like obviously I'm not a developer myself, and if I hear the guys speaking sometimes, like it goes way beyond my capabilities, let's say. But the confidence in hearing them speak about the things that they're producing, this is very exciting for me to witness, let's say. Obviously, I'm doing the background type of stuff, like the marketing and all that. And I, I would say, luckily, I don't have to code anything, because I think I would go crazy on all these entries. But it's super fascinating in the end to hear everybody speak, and the confidence that they have in what they want to produce. That it's just amazing to hear.
Oh, that's great. It's nice to get feedback like that from someone like yourself, Martin, who's been on the inside a bit and can see what's happening. That's great to hear.
Right. All right, Andrew. Thank you for that. We had a cool community question. I think it came from an owner from the Turkish community. He was asking, how did you manage to get like the geniuses, like the giga brains, Peter Risen and Andrew Stone, under the same roof?
Yeah. So this is part of the history of Bitcoin Unlimited, that we formed from a pre-existing communication group, which was on Bitcoin Talk, and we actually were censored off Bitcoin Talk. We basically had to go to a different forum. So we were already discussing what could be done with Bitcoin scaling together before Bitcoin Unlimited was formed. So it was a joint decision. Certainly, Peter was active with Andrew Stone in the formation process, as was myself, and we've had people come along since. So that's what it was. That the organisation has sprung out of internet people communicating on the internet. That's how it started.
Right. Well, that's pretty exciting, right? I mean, if you like in the world that we are, like in this industry, you meet like people all over the world with different capabilities, different type of skills, and it's pretty cool to eventually get like the right people at the right place in within one organization to execute what you believe is the best thing forward, right?
Yeah,
and yeah,
and
go
I
ahead,
think
sorry.
sorry, that's an important lesson, because I've been to a number of Bitcoin and crypto conferences, and you're always meeting people that you think you might have some sort of working synergy with, and you like swap cards or whatever. But 99 times out of 100, they don't come to anything, because there's no real joint financial enterprise that's possible. But I
Right.
think in this particular case, where Andrew Stone certainly had the capability to create his own fork of Bitcoin Core, and then we had Andreas Husani, who's an expert on sysadmin, so he could deploy a mini network straight up. We had the right people in the room to put things together. And that made the difference to kick the organization off.
Right. That's really cool. And I mean, at some point I would not like to call it like luck that you find the right people, but it's also some kind of a like the fate, right? It just happened that you hit the right person for the right spot.
Well, it was. There were a number of people who contributed in different ways, with time, money, and expertise. So
Right.
yeah, it was kind of fate that things came together, and the organisation's strong. We've been together. It's coming up for what'll be 8 years in November.
8 years, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So we're here to stay. That's for sure.
Absolutely. We're building forward. That's
Yeah.
100% a fact, right? Cool. All right, Andrew. Thank you for that. I just came up with an additional question actually, because obviously we have like those Bitcoin Unlimited improvement proposals, which are like every quarterly, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Maybe you can explain a little bit to the community how these exactly work, because obviously like a lot of funding from Bitcoin Unlimited comes from there, right? Whether it is for the ultra skill testnet, or if it is for a ledger app development, or you name it. Maybe you
Yes.
can relate a little bit on that to to explain the community a little bit how it actually works.
Okay, well, when we founded Bitcoin Unlimited, what we wanted to bring to the organization was democratic governance by its members. And that way, it was something that we saw was missing from most other teams, where they kind of had just one person who seemed to make decisions, the final decision. So part of our federation of articles that we wrote describe the BU improvement process. So this can be anything. It can be software changes. It can be a proposal for a conference, for marketing, different things. And the members can vote on it. Now, we did have quite more members that we have today. And we're actually being quite selective with our membership. While in theory anyone can apply, we really want people who have spent, say, at least a year actively contributing to Bitcoin Unlimited one way or another.
Right.
And that type of person would make a good member, and then they would be able to vote on the BUIP improvement processes. And you're right, we do have quarterly votes on those. So I kind of batch them together. So that's another part of my role, is managing those votes. And certainly this is how the members of BU have a say in how the funds of the organisation are actually spent. So I don't make any decisions on where funds are spent. That's done by the membership vote.
By the whole organization, right? So it's rather having a decentralized sort of voting proposal rather than one CEO deciding where the funds are spent, basically.
Exactly. And
Right.
they just having one CEO is a way to crash and burn like that.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
so yeah, the financial spending power is within the membership.
All right. Cool. I think that explains a lot for the people. So when it comes to crypto, or let's say Bitcoin or Nexa, even in this case, what does excite you the most about the future of it? Let's say, take it like 5 years ahead. Where do you think like the whole industry will be, and especially where do you think that Nexa will be in this case scenario?
Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to Satoshi's invention back in 2009
Right.
or 2008 when he published the paper. So what he did is he came up with a method of effectively combining the scarcity of gold with the flexibility of electronic fiat, which which is a real technological breakthrough. And crypto is the future of money, and money is important, of course, because it's fungible into all goods and services. And we live in a very sophisticated world economy now, where being able to use money freely is quite important. And when we're looking at 5 years ahead, I'm actually quite concerned about what's happening with the fiat system, where it seems like financial repression is happening more and more. I just heard last night that when items are posted from Europe, there used to be €1,000 limit for
Right.
declaring things for customs purposes. They've dropped that to €10. So anyone sending a package with anything in, whether it's just a collectible or anything of low value, it needs a customs form. It's just a complete nightmare. And they say it's to stop money laundering. Well, some of the biggest money laundering is done by banks like HSBC. and JP Morgan, to be
And
perfectly
more of it.
honest, they're the
Right.
ones that keep
Exactly.
buying billions. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So the average man and woman in the street are getting just hammered with all this financial repression these days. And it almost seems like governments are trying to drive people into crypto. So this is why I like crypto, of course, because that's financial freedom. We've got this trustless, decentralized financial system.
Right.
I mean, some cryptos, of course, are not quite like that. They have a little bit more central governance than perhaps they should, and some are closed source. But ones like Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Nexa, obviously, are true decentralized cryptos. And I believe that is the future of money long term. But we might jump ahead here, but I just want to mention these central bank digital currencies. So
Yeah,
talking
sure.
about 5 years' time, we're going to see a few of those rolled out. And the central bank digital currencies basically makes everyone in the country have an account with the central bank. And the central bank is going to just have a total overview of who's sending money to any other person. If you
Right.
think back to just to days of cash, when you pay with cash, that is an anonymous transaction. And it's been like that for thousands of years. So we're entering a new paradigm where the government wants total financial surveillance on every single payment we make. And also we're entering a world where we can't barter anymore. We have
Right.
to pay money to survive. So private crypto is really the escape route from this. That's my view. I feel quite strongly about that.
No,
Um,
absolutely. I think I
yeah,
totally agree. I totally agree with that.
yeah.
And
Um,
I mean, we're speaking about transactions here, but like obviously there's much more behind it, right? Like at some point, like if these central bank currencies are about to introduce, then I mean, transactions is one thing, but like they can implement like credit scores and like a total control over your whole money flow, right?
yeah.
Um,
So this is absolutely right. So with a credit course the scoring system, you might have someone. They might, for example, they might say that more people should buy electric cars. So that means that people find that they can't use their central bank currency to buy gas at the
right,
because they're being incentivized, if you know what I mean, to buy an electric car. That's one thing. It
right,
could be another thing where the government decides that if you're in a certain socioeconomic bracket, you're not allowed to go to a casino. So you won't be able to buy any chips to play on the casino, or to vape, or there's all sorts of things that
right,
the government might say certain people shouldn't do, and effectively you'll have this kind of financial censorship from participating and making your own choices about where you want to spend your money.
right. No, absolutely, I agree with that. And I mean, you just get like I'm looking for the right word right now, but you basically get like well under control, obviously, but also like it's getting pushed on you what you can do, right? It's not like a total freedom anymore, and that's where crypto comes in play, in my opinion.
Yes, yes. So the private crypto will always give us that freedom, provided that people on the other end are willing to accept it.
Right,
And then, of course, the decentralized exchanges help. So one thing that we're going to have with Nexa. So with the history of BU, we did after we failed to bring on-chain scaling to Bitcoin. We actually had 53% mining power on the Bitcoin network at one point, but we couldn't
right,
quite swing it. So we did support Bitcoin Cash for a number of years as an alternative, and it's still got potential, that particular crypto, but it's got problems, and we've this is the thing about our team, is that we've got a combined sort of 70 odd years of experience in crypto. We can see
right,
what's being done wrong in places, and an intelligent person learns from their own mistake. A wise person learns from the mistakes of others. And
Right.
that's what we're trying to do with Nexa. We're watching what other coins do, see what works, see what doesn't work, so that we can just put the best elements into Nexa.
And that's what we were doing.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing. Yes,
Right.
yes.
I heard this sentence quite often, and maybe you can repeat it once more for the community. But it makes like total sense on everything that we are trying to build, right? It's yeah, it's. I mean, it's so simple, but it's so obvious at the same time.
Yes. So let's go back to Nexa's what we call a UTXO coin, unspent transaction output. So that's basically the
Right.
original genius of Satoshi's design in Bitcoin. Super efficient way of keeping track of funds on the blockchain. And with Ethereum, for example, and I believe many others, they have the account-based system, so that already is a big loss of anonymity.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so we're quite proud of the fact that we're sort of extending and improving on the UTXO model in Nexa, because that really does preserve people's financial, it has more potential to preserve people's financial privacy. Although I must say that the chain analysis is improving all the time as well.
Of course, yeah.
So it's a continual battle to do that. And all we're doing is trying to keep the anonymity of cash, which was the norm for centuries. So it's not like we're trying to do anything radical. We're just
That's
pushing
pretty
back.
obvious in the end.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Cool, Andrew. Thank you. Thank you for that too. We're running a little bit out of time. Usually we take like a 30, 40 minutes for the AMAs. So perhaps I can just ask you the last question that I'm asking everybody that I will get on the call. Is there anything that you would like to share to the community? Just
I think,
a last sentence.
yeah, the main thing I can share with the community is that Bitcoin is well funded. Bitcoin Unlimited is well funded.
Right. Yeah.
We can go another decade, and as everyone knows, this coin was launched from zero, so the organisation has acquired a holding, and we won't need to touch that for 10 years. And we're not going away. So this is our focus, and we're going to improve Nexa to the point where obviously it shouldn't need much tinkering as time goes on. But we've got a roadmap that I know the first year has been a little bit slow, but we are determined to deliver a lot of items on our roadmap. In fact, everything.
Right.
And we're here for the long run. So that's the main takeaway. This is our
Perfect.
focus. Yeah.
Sounds good. And maybe one addition on it, like how do you look at the team, the people you're working with? How do you see everything like under your hood? Everything is going around. Things are being developed. How do you look at it
Yeah.
as a teamwork, as a team vibe that we have in general?
Now we do have a great team. We really do. I must admit we have been sidetracked on a few things like helping exchanges like MEXC with sort of bespoke changes.
Right.
But no, we do have a great team, and the beauty of it is that people's skills don't overlap completely. So everyone brings something to the table.
Right.
And I mean, we had a long working relationship now. So I must say that there aren't arguments like shouting matches or anything silly like that. It's a very collegiate atmosphere in our
Right.
organisation.
Right. Cool. I think that's a great thing to hear for the community. Um, So yeah, Andrew, once again, really appreciate you took your time here. Usually you're not like the main person getting on the AMA, so it's much appreciated that the community could have hear a bit from your side, your perspective, and how you look at Nexa and crypto in general.
Yep.
So yeah, big thanks for that, Andrew.
Okay. Well, thanks, Martin, and maybe we'll have another session in the future, maybe with a specific focus on some areas.
Yeah, sure. We can organize that.
Okay.
All right, cool.
All right.
So,
Well, thank
community,
you
thank
all,
you as
and
well.
yep, thanks everyone who's stayed with it to the end and listened to us. Much appreciated.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody, and I will share the recording, obviously, like tomorrow or the day after in the chat. So for anybody that missed it or tune in later, obviously you'll be able to catch up with the whole recording. Cool. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night, morning, afternoon, wherever you are, and wish you a good day in general.